Hey there folks, it's me, Safari Sam, and today we have another 16 quart tub, and you know what that means, we're making another isopod home. Yes, we recently did a video where we made one of these for milkback isopods, which are from Porcellio EX laevis, and today we have more Porcellio EX laevis, these dairy cows. Now we are recording this pretty late, so a lot of these puppies are asleep, but they were pretty active during the day today, weren't you little guys? Yeah, but we cannot leave them in this forever. Also, we got them like half price. That's like half the market rate. 40 plus for 20 is usually $1 a bug. And I will be selling them when they breed. Yeah, it's gonna be great. But for now, I'm only selling within state lines of Georgia in the United States. That's it. Yeah, I can't go outside state lines currently. But, still pretty cool. Very happy to make a new home for them. Now, it's going to be pretty similar to our milkback home, but it is going to have some differences because I want to try different things. Now, first up, we're going to use a different substrate. We're going to be using this big bag of bioactive ABG substrate from the Show Me Reptiles Expo. You would have seen this in our whole video if you're on Patreon. It's pretty cool, long-lasting, resists compaction, exceptional drainage, and retains moisture and nutrients, which will be the most important thing for this build. Let's go ahead and get some in there. Oh, looks like Naughty Cat's curious. Oh, look at that. You can see a lot of moss and decaying wood. That is really good because the moss will help retain moisture and the wood will act as, you guessed it, food for our isopods. This is not quite enough. I'm going to have to pour a bit more in. Well, would you look at that? If I spread this out, that entire bag was actually the perfect amount. Wow, it's almost as if they kind of expected it. But yeah, in these 16 quart tubs, I like to try to take it just a little under the ridge. It's a good big old chunk of dirt. I think that's really good. Since there is a lot of moss and decaying wood in here, I don't have to add my own like I did with the last build, so I'm actually very happy. Don't worry, I'm not sponsored, I paid full price for that, full price. But I do have these that I got from Paleo Chris in a paleo pack. It is fossil-rich gravel. Yeah, this is full of fossils, and it's limestone. I like to sprinkle these in enclosures where it's safe to do so, as kind of to honor the animals from the past by letting them be part of the world of the animals of the present. Extinct and extant. All friends, all the time. So we're just gonna spread that throughout. And there is a lot of calcium in limestone. And yes, isopods, like all arthropods, need a good source of calcium. But this is not a good source of calcium for them. Actually, quite factually, it's too hard. They can't get the calcium from it, unfortunately. We are going to mix it in. The cat just jumped in the drawer. What are you doing? Now you might be asking, what is good calcium for them? Well, eggshells are good calcium, things like that. But for me, I prefer to give them cuttlebone. It's a bit of a more expensive source of calcium for isopods and other invertebrates and whatnot, but I think it's a pretty good one. It's cuttlefish bone. And this is a natural one, allegedly. It's often marketed for birds, and birds do need it and enjoy it, but your bugs need it too. So I'm going to give this to them. There's an outer part on one side that they can't really eat, but they can eat one whole side and all the insides. So it's really great for them. I like to kind of break it up and even shave dust from it into the soil, you know, so that it's not all in big chunks. Got to get the little metal piece off, and the cat's in the drawer again. Kitty, I need this drawer. It's got my film supplies in it. Anyway, I break the remainder into a bunch of little clumps, and then you guessed it, mix it all in, but I make sure there's a couple pieces right on the top. Just stick them in corners, things like that. There's a few here. Maybe mix them in a little bit more. Put them in the corners, maybe. There we go. That'll do, pig, that'll do. And we also need a place for them to hide, which can also serve as a food source, which is why, that's just more cuttlebone, which is why I got this big old piece of cork bark from the expo as well. Usually if I have a big piece, I'll break it into smaller pieces. I'm gonna try just one big piece and a lot of leaf litter this time. Normally I think I have one isopod bin with like 5 pieces, like a medium and like 4 smalls, and then I have one that's just 2 big pieces. For this build, I'm just gonna stick this one in right there. I think they'll like that. They'll crawl in all the little holes. Just one big one. I hope that will work. And then I'm also gonna add a cock ton of leaf litter. Yeah, probably this whole bag. Leaf litter is not only a place for your bugs to hide in, but they can also eat it. The more leaf litter, the better. In complete honesty, you almost can't have too much. You're gonna have to replace leaf litter eventually too, because they are gonna chomp down and oh, this might not even be enough. Oh yeah, a lot of this is a little small. I might have to add more. I'll have to go get more though. I thought this would be enough, but I could really go for more. It looks like a lot, I know, but yeah, no, it's gonna need some more, probably. Move some of this over. Yeah, no, it's gonna need more leaf litter. But now I'm less worried about leaf litter and more worried about moss. That's right, I'm gonna need more from my trusty sphagnum moss brick. And what are we gonna do with that moss? Well, we're gonna put it right here along the back. You see, Porcellio EX laevis, which is not Porcellio laevis, it has been discovered that dairy cows and milkbacks are Porcellio EX laevis, also known as Porcellio AFF laevis for affiliate, because they're very similar and were once thought to be Porcellio laevis, but they're their own species. They cannot crossbreed with Porcellio laevis. They'll compete with each other. They will not breed because they can't. They have different genitals. They're not compatible. Yeah, very interesting. So, that's why we call them Porcellio EX laevis, Porcellio AF laevis, Porcellio AFF laevis, because they're not Porcellio laevis, but they haven't been properly identified yet and given their species name. But they do still require pretty much the same care as Porcellio laevis, and they still have a lot of the traits. They almost certainly have a common ancestor. So Porcellio laevis likes a moisture gradient, so this will be a bit of a more moist side right here. And, you know, since it'll be moist, it kind of needs something. A little something else. What could that something be? Oh yeah, springtails. Yes, springtails are tiny little bugs, usually white, but not always. And they eat mold. So if you saw our last Safari Sam, you might have seen that mold outbreak we had in our powdered orange isopod colony. And we talked about how springtails have been cleaning it up and getting rid of it for us, but how we need to continue to monitor it to make sure it doesn't spread and make sure the springtails get it all so it doesn't hurt our isopods. But we also need springtails for these guys, not only because they clean up mold, but also because they clean up poop. Yes, isopods are often used as cleanup crews. I wouldn't use Porcellio laevis or Porcellio EX laevis as a cleanup crew typically. They can be a little munchy. But isopods are often used for that since they are detritivores. But these guys here are also detritivores, and they will clean up after the isopods. They eat the isopods' poop, you know. Who cleans the cleanup crew? Springtails do. And I should have put them in before the leaf litter. That would have been smart, wouldn't it? Now I have moistened some sphagnum moss. God, it smells so good when you wet it. Like, it smells actually really good. And I just like to make a back line. And I like to watch them drink from it too. And they'll even nibble on the sphagnum moss. Porcellio EX laevis actually likes protein too. So like if you have a dead cricket or something, that's like a feeder for some of your other animals, they'll take it. They'll actually take it. My last dead cricket I gave to my beetle. I have a beetle. It's just a beetle that like breeds mealworms for me. It's not anything fancy. But we got the moss in, and that will help keep moisture good for them. But now, there's one thing that every isopod bin needs that it cannot live without. The friggin' isopods. Here's a closer look at our dairy cow for your viewing pleasure. He's given a little munch on here, And these are pretty handleable isopods. They're typically not even really scared of me. I can just scoop them up and they'll walk over my hands. If I put my hand in front of them, they'll often walk right onto it. I think he just realized I picked him up. But yeah, they're a Dalmatian morph, which is why they're called dairy cows. And they still seem to be interested in this carrot, so I'm going to add it in with them. And eventually it will have to be removed. And they do like carrots. They're actually a perfect treat. Just make sure you wash, peel, and boil. Alright? Make sure you wash, peel, and boil. So yeah, let's get them active and get them in here. Alright, little friends, come on. I see you running around in there. Oh! I'm not trying to hurt you. I get a little worried when I'm dumping them in, but I'm trying to be a little gentle here. There you go. They're shooting towards the back of the bin. Don't shoot towards the back of the bin. Just come on out. There you go. And these guys are pretty good eaters. They like to wander, as you can see. Ooh, there's some big ones in here. I didn't realize how many giant ones we have. But I'm really glad we were able to get them in these big colonies, because I have some dairy cows already that live with a spider, and to see if I could balance them as an ecosystem. And I didn't have a bin. I wanted a bin for my isopodos. A lot of them, they must have been thirsty, even though I did give them some water on some moss this morning. But you know, I had to get them out of there as soon as possible. It was just way too small for them. They would have started fighting, etc. Obviously, when you're selling them, you sell them in these little things. But you just gotta make these videos as soon as possible to get your little friends where they can be safe. You can see a lot of little pods crawling around, being happy, doing an explore. The cat is trying to get in the drawer again. What do you want, cat? You little freak. A lot of beautiful buggies. I mean, don't let an entomologist hear you calling these bugs. They're not insects, fun fact, but they are very cool, interesting little critters. Look at them go. Just look at them go. So many interesting isopodos. You need help there, little bud? Are you okay? They're okay. I also did have to modify this tub's lid. You had to cut some ventilation into it. And then I also used aquarium safe silicone to get it on the back. Not hot glue, aquarium safe silicone. Make sure it's something safe for them. You'll have to let it cure outside for several hours because the stuff reeks. It reeks. But I also like to put the scientific name and the common name on there. I swapped them, damn it. I usually like to put the scientific name on top. That's gonna irk me. There, that's better. And I just made these with a P-Touch label. Don't ask me why they called it a P-Touch label, I have no idea. And then B3 was sent this. He has a store where he sells collectibles and stuff, and he was sent this free sticker in the mail to be like, hey, here's a free sticker, consider it a sample, consider carrying our product, but stickers don't sell really well in his store. We've tried, but it's mostly like action figures and trading cards that sell well. Little comics and stuff like that, but movies. But it's mostly action figures and trading cards. And I've taken a liking to putting stickers on these bins. So, you know, it was really nice of them to send us this. So this is j6r6.com. Not sponsored, but they gave us a free nature sticker, and we thought we'd shout them out. But yeah, it's just gonna stick right on the bin. And that is it for our Dairy Cow Isopod build. Yes, Porcellio EX laevis is a very fun species, a great display isopod. And we do have a display enclosure with them in it, but for now, we're going to be breeding them in this tub, and when their population takes off, and it will, we're going to be selling them in Georgia, mostly in Atlanta. If that's a bit of a drive for you, that's fine. We'll give you a discounted rate if you have to travel. I'm dead serious, I'll do that. But just know, every cent from selling isopods or snails, which I promised there'll be another snail video soon, or anything else that we breed, will go straight towards the production of more safari Sams. So that is it. Thank you all very much for your support. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. Check out all the cool links in the description below, Facebook, Twitter, etc. And I'll see you all next one. Bye for now.